It all started 3 months ago when I received the opportunity that would change my career. The director called an urgent meeting and announced, we needed an innovative proposal to win the biggest client in the company's history. My heart raced. I knew I had the right ideas for this. I spent sleepless nights developing every detail. It wasn't just a project, it was my chance to finally be recognized after 5 years of pouring my heart into the company. Every spreadsheet, every slide, every argument was built with passion and dedication. Have you ever worked on something that felt like your big break? Keep reading to discover how this story changed my life forever. During the project's development, Raphael approached me. He was always that type of charismatic person everyone loves, but who never delivers anything concrete. Need any help? He asked with a smile I should have been suspicious of. Naively, I shared some files with him, asking for feedback on formatting and design. Raphael praised everything, said I was a genius and that this project would be a hit. He even offered to review the final presentation. Blind trust can be costly. Discover in the next chapter what happened when I let my guard down. 2 weeks before the presentation, I started noticing strange things. Raphael was asking very specific questions about my numbers and strategies. He wanted to know details that went beyond simple collaboration. It's just professional curiosity, he would say. Later I realized he was always around when I talked about the project with other colleagues. He took notes on his phone, made vague comments about working on something similar. But I was so focused on finishing everything perfectly that I didn't pay attention to the signs. The warnings were all there, but sometimes we're too busy to see the obvious. Continue to understand how everything fell apart. The night before the big presentation, I finalized everything. Every slide was impeccable, every argument sharp. I sent a copy to my personal email as backup and stored the flash drive in my office drawer. I slept peacefully, dreaming of the recognition that would come. I woke up early, excited. I wore my best suit, mentally reviewed every point of the presentation during the commute to the office. When I arrived, the meeting room was already being prepared. Everything seemed perfect. I had no idea my world was about to collapse. What happened next left me floored. I entered the meeting room 5 minutes before the scheduled time. And then I saw it. Raphael was already there, connecting his laptop to the projector. "You're early," I commented, not understanding. He gave me a look I couldn't decipher and smiled. "Always good to be prepared, right?" The board walked in. The CEO, the vice presidents, everyone important was there. My boss opened the meeting. "Raphael has prepared a presentation about the strategic project for the new client. We're eager to see it." My blood ran cold. Raphael? My project? I looked at him, incredulous, but he was already starting the presentation. The feeling of being betrayed in front of everyone is indescribable. Read the next chapter to see how I reacted. Slide by slide, I watched my soul being presented as if it were his. My ideas, my analyses, even the colors I chose were there. Raphael presented with confidence, as if he had spent months developing it. The board nodded, impressed. I was paralyzed for a few seconds. Part of me couldn't believe what I was seeing. Another part was starting to boil with rage. How did he get access to my files? When did he plan this? I looked around. No one suspected anything. Everyone believed that work was his. Would you stay silent or face the situation? Discover what I did when rage overcame shock. I took a deep breath. I couldn't let this happen. Not after so much work, so much sacrifice. I waited for Raphael to reach slide number 8, where there was a particularly complex analysis I had developed alone. "Excuse me," my voice cut through the room. Everyone turned to me. Raphael paused, the remote control trembling slightly in his hand. "Is there something wrong with the presentation?" my boss asked, confused. I stood up, my heart pounding in my chest. There was no turning back now. The moment of truth had arrived. Keep reading to see how I exposed him. Chapter 8. The revelation begins. "Actually, there's something very wrong," I began, keeping my voice steady despite my nerves. "This project wasn't developed by Raphael. It was developed by me, over the last 3 months. The silence in the room was deafening. Raphael turned red. "What are you talking about? This is ridiculous." He tried to laugh, but his voice came out tense, fake. I grabbed my laptop. I can prove it, I said, looking directly into the CEO's eyes. The tension was at its peak. See in the next chapter the evidence I had prepared without knowing I would need it. I connected my laptop to the projector, my hand surprisingly steady. I opened my file version history. This document was created by me 87 days ago, I explained, showing the date and my name as author. Here are all 47 versions I developed, with dates and times. I opened my email. Here are the exchanges with the research department, requesting data. All from 3 months ago, all with my name. Click after click, I showed the complete trail of my work. Raphael was pale. We worked together on this, he tried to argue, but his voice was failing. The lies were beginning to crumble. Continue to see the board's reaction. We worked together? I repeated, my voice gaining strength. Then why does only my name appear in all the metadata? Why were all communications with other departments made exclusively by me? I pulled out another piece of evidence, my handwritten drafts, photographed and dated on my phone. Meeting notes where I presented the initial ideas to my direct supervisor, weeks before Raphael approached me. The CEO leaned forward. Raphael, do you have anything to say? The moment when truth prevails is powerful. Read how Raphael tried to defend himself. Raphael tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come out right. I helped with some aspects, the formatting. He looked around, searching for support that wouldn't come. We had several conversations about the project. Conversations where you asked me for feedback, I interrupted, using that as an excuse to copy my work. I showed the messages where he asked for the files, always with innocent pretexts. The VP of HR was taking notes, her face serious. My boss looked shocked, alternating his gaze between me and Raphael. The mask had completely fallen. See in the next chapter the immediate consequences. The CEO raised his hand, asking for silence. We need to stop this meeting. Raphael, please accompany the HR representative. Now. It wasn't a request, it was an order. Raphael left the room with his head down, without looking at anyone. The tension began to decrease, but my body still trembled with adrenaline. Can we continue the presentation? The CEO asked, looking directly at me. With the true author of the project, this time. Recognition finally came, but in a way I never imagined. Continue to find out how I finished the presentation. I took a deep breath and returned to the presentation, this time from my laptop, with my original files. The board was attentive, perhaps more than they would have been under normal circumstances. The drama had made everything more intense. I presented each point with renewed passion. Now it wasn't just about the project, it was about proving my worth, my integrity. I answered questions, elaborated strategies, showed numbers. When I finished, there was a brief silence before the applause. It wasn't just applause for the project, I realized. It was for the project and for the courage to defend my work. Success tastes different when it comes after a battle. Discover in the next chapter what happened in the following days. Raphael was fired for cause on the same day. The HR investigation revealed that he had accessed my files on the shared network using credentials he shouldn't have had. It wasn't just idea theft, it was a violation of security protocols. My project was approved by the board. 3 days later, I received a promotion and was assigned to lead the implementation of the strategy one created. The client closed the deal, the biggest sale in the company's history. But most important of all, I proved to myself that standing up for what's right is worthwhile. Every difficult story brings valuable lessons. Read the final chapter to understand what I learned from all of this. Today, 6 months later, I reflect on that day. I could have stayed silent, avoided the confrontation, let Raphael take the credit. It would have been easier, more professional, as some might say. But I would have lost something much greater than a promotion: my self-esteem, my integrity, my self-respect. I learned that documenting your work isn't paranoia, it's protection. I learned that confronting injustice isn't creating drama, it's defending your rights. And I learned that, in the end, truth always has a way of winning, especially when you have the courage to fight for it. If you're going through something similar, know this: it's worth defending yourself. Your work, your effort, your dedication deserve recognition. Never let anyone steal your shine. This is my story, and now you know, justice exists when we have the courage to seek it.